everyone, welcome to Cajun Food Made Simple. My name is Njaya and I'm the owner of Zenful East Catering based out of Houston, Texas. I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. I'm going to share a few original recipes. Today we're going to go ahead and get into an appetizer. One of my favorites is called sriracha shrimp deviled eggs. And then we're going to get into one of my favorite entrees, which is the smothered pulled beef pasta. I hope you guys enjoy. I've catered for hundreds and hundreds of people and I've figured out the shortcuts along the way. So I'm definitely hoping to make it easier for you guys to create Cajun magic at home. Okay, so first off, we're gonna go ahead and start with our smothered beef Cajun pasta. This is a super favorite in Houston. I normally call it the pasta that saves the day. So number one, we're gonna get our seasonings going. The first thing that I use is a little jalapeno salt. A little goes a long way. It does have like a salty aftertaste, so I don't use that much. So we're gonna sprinkle that on first, a little on the front, and the rest on the back, not much. And then next is going to be our Cajun seasoning, which of course for Cajun food is always the way to go. And next I kind of just rub the seasonings in just to make sure like it's evenly coated. So we have that going, and then of course we're going to use our Cajun Holy Trinity. So we have our minced garlic. I'm gonna take a spoonful and just kind of dump it on top. And then I'm gonna grab my bell pepper, also spread that on the top. And we have some celery. And then lastly, we have our onion. So I pretty much just kind of rub it all in. It's a little messy, but it's okay to be messy to get the job done. It is what it is. So I'm just gonna rub this all in here. And once everything is put together, I'm just gonna transfer it over to the roasting pot. And any leftovers, the more the merrier. So I'm just gonna kind of take all of this and place it right on top. And then normally I just put a little water at the bottom of this and we just pop it into the oven. Okay guys, so we have our roast all seasoned and ready to go. So the only thing I need to do now is add my water to the bottom of the pan, and then we're gonna pop it in the oven. So I normally cook this overnight. So my recommendation is to go ahead and put it on 200 and just cook it overnight. You know, check it on it in the morning and make sure that it's nice and tender. And then at the end, I'll show you the gravy I kind of put over it to make it like the smothered beef to go inside of the pasta. But for now, we're just gonna pop it in the oven and move on. All right, so that's that. Now we're gonna move on to the pasta sauce. I'm gonna turn up my burner to around, I wanna say like a medium, like a 5 or 6. So I'm doing that now. And then we just dump our butter in first. So it's gonna be the whipped butter first. And it's about, I wanna say like 2 tablespoons, that'll do. And we're gonna get that nice and melted. And just while that's melting, I'm gonna show you guys the first steps of what we're gonna put inside. So we're gonna use the bell peppers. I use green and red, and then also the remaining onions that I have cut up here. So once that gets a little melted, we'll add that. And then from there we'll continue. And the only other thing that goes in at the same time as the onion, bell pepper, and onion is the rotel. Now you don't have to use rotel, the brand. You can use diced tomatoes with jalapenos. You can kind of make it your own, but I personally use rotel because it's simple. And this is called Cajun Food Made Simple. So we're gonna go ahead and use the rotel. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. This is what I seasoned the roast with. I'm gonna go ahead and move this out of the way. And let's get started on our sauce. So our butter is already melted. So next I'm gonna go ahead and add the onion, the bell pepper. So the white onion first, bell pepper, and then the red bell pepper. And then I wanna say about a tablespoon of minced garlic. And lastly, we're gonna go ahead and add our spicy rotel. So we have that going. And now I'm just gonna kind of let everything come together, and we're just gonna take a little while to let that cook and simmer for a little bit. And we'll be right back. Okay, so we have our veggies mixing in all together. It's still at a 5. I like to make sure that it gets just a little bit soft, but not like to the point where it doesn't have any crunch at all. Next, we're gonna go ahead and add our seasonings. So the first seasoning I add is lemon pepper. Lemon pepper adds like a nice little tang to the pasta sauce, so it's vital. It definitely gives a nice little flavor. Next, I add cayenne just for a little spice. So not too much though, just maybe a little pinch. So I'm gonna add that in there. And then the key ingredient, the magic, comes with the garlic sriracha. This is one of my favorites. I discovered it about 2 years ago, and now I use it on everything. So we're gonna dump in, I wanna say, around a tablespoon of garlic sriracha and get that going. And lastly, of course, we have our Cajun seasoning. This is a Cajun show, and we use Cajun seasoning. So here we go. About a tablespoon as well. Seasoning is key with this sauce. In the South, we love flavor, so I just like every bite to be extremely flavorful. So the seasoning is key for everything that I pretty much do. So we're gonna let that simmer in together with our veggies. And next, we're gonna go ahead and add our next 2 ingredients. So we have our heavy cream. This is about 16 ounces of heavy cream. So we're gonna add that and whole milk. So I wanna say about a cup of whole milk. We're gonna go ahead and add that as well, just to kind of thin it out just a little bit, because next we're gonna add our cheeses. So while that gets warm, we're gonna be right back and add our cheeses. Okay, so in the back, I've already boiled my penne pasta, so that's ready to go. So all we have to do now is go ahead and finish our sauce. So I went ahead and turned down our heavy cream and milk, and I turned it down to a level 3. So now we don't want the bottom of the pan to burn. Cheese and milk burns very easily, so we want to definitely turn it down while the heavy cream is warming before we add our cheeses. So we're gonna go ahead and add our shredded Italian first up. And then we're gonna go ahead and add our grated Parmesan as well. And just give it a nice stir. Now personally, I don't like my pasta sauce to be extremely thick, but I still like it to have like a nice smooth texture. So looking at it now, it's a little thick. We just wanna add a little milk to kind of, I guess, you know, thin it out a little bit. So I'm adding my milk. We're gonna give that a nice stir. Okay, and we are good here. And basically we're just gonna let everything kind of melt together, all the seasonings, veggies, cheeses. It makes a fantastic sauce. So we're pretty much gonna set this pasta sauce aside. The noodles are ready, the roast is still going. We're gonna set this pasta sauce aside and the noodles as well, and kind of bring everything together at the end. And I'll show you how to put the gravy on the beef and mix everything together. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and move on to one of my favorite appetizers, which is the sriracha shrimp deviled eggs. So we'll be back shortly. Okay guys, so next we're gonna get into our sriracha shrimp deviled eggs, one of my super favorites. So I've already boiled the eggs, we've already got them peeled, and I already have the yolks, most of them in here. Next, I'm just gonna add the last yolk. You just gut it out, of course, all of the yellow, place it in the bowl. And then next I'm gonna make my mixture for the mixture that goes inside of the deviled eggs. So first we're gonna take some mayo, add that in. And then next we have some dill relish. We're gonna add that as well. A little bit of Dijon mustard, just maybe about, I wanna say 1/4 of a tablespoon. Got that in. And lastly, we're gonna put some hot sauce, just a little drizzle. And for seasonings, just for taste, we're gonna add a little bit of Cajun seasoning in. So we have that together. Last, I just give it a little stir, just to get things semi-mixed, but I'm actually about to transfer it over to the blender to get it super smooth. So we have that mixed in. Doesn't have to be perfect, just good enough to dump inside the blender. So I'm gonna go over here, dump it in. And now my last step is just to add a little bit of milk. Not too much at all. We just wanna make sure this all gets smooth and ready to go in our eggs. Boom. And then I normally put mine on milkshake because I really like it to be extremely smooth. Okay, so we have it super nice and smooth. I'm gonna take this top off. And one of my tricks is using a cake icing bag. This is a pretty big one. You can definitely find them in smaller sizes, but I'm gonna go ahead and add the mixture into this bag. Okay guys, so we have our mixture nice and smooth in our bag, and we're gonna go ahead and squeeze it into the eggs. And just look how pretty the texture is. It's nice and smooth, and it's also giving like a rich look, and that's exactly what I like. So I'm just gonna squeeze in the rest here. We got that out of the way, so we're finished with that. And now we're just gonna get our shrimp ready to go ahead and fry. So I have my shrimp, and first I'm just gonna add some hot sauce in as the base. Not much because this is actually habanero hot sauce. I definitely recommend, if you don't like spicy, just to use regular hot sauce. I'm a spice freak, so that's why we're here. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix in the hot sauce, not too much. And then we're gonna go ahead and get our batter ready. So right now I have a little yellow cornmeal and flour. So all I'm gonna do is add some lemon pepper for taste. And then we have some like roasted garlic mix seasoning. You can find that in multiple brands at the grocery store. Mix that in. And then we're just gonna kind of mix it all in together to make a nice fry for our shrimp. So we are good to go there. I just kind of want like the same universal color. So we're almost there. Our flour is almost mixed in. You don't want to really see too much white in there. So we are good to go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and batter my shrimp and just get them ready for frying. Okay, so I've already started battering my shrimp, as you can see, inside of our cornmeal and flour mixture. I'm gonna do just a few more, just so you can see, but basically I just, you know, toss them back and forth a few times, get it nice and coated all over, place them in something dry, and then we're gonna go ahead and get it frying. So we're ready to fry, and here we go. We just want to get them nice and crispy. Shrimp cooks very quick, so we don't have to keep them in here for long at all. And that's perfect. So I'm just gonna get this ready because in about, I want to say, a minute and a half it's gonna be ready. So we'll actually be right back so we can take these out, place them on our drainer, and go ahead and keep it moving. Okay, so we have our shrimp. It's all nice and drained here. So next we're gonna go ahead and get into the sauce. This is one of my favorite sauces as well. It's sriracha garlic sauce, super simple, just 3 ingredients. So let's go ahead and get into it. I have my pan on high. We're gonna go ahead and add the butter. Melt that. Once that's mostly melted, we're gonna go ahead and add our sriracha in. And then we're just gonna add some garlic sriracha, which is one of my favorite seasonings. We don't need much of this. This is pretty much just for extra flavor for the shrimp to go on top and just make that pop for the deviled eggs. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add our shrimp to this nice little sriracha garlic mixture. Just coat it, and this makes an awesome flavor, especially on top of the fish fry we just made. So now we are ready to go. And lastly, we're just gonna take some tongs and we're gonna add the shrimp on top of the eggs. Just like so, standing straight up. One more to go, guys. And there we are. So we have that part done, and the only thing we have now to do is garnish. So I'm gonna take some green onion that I've chopped up, kind of just spread that out over the top. And then lastly, we're just gonna take some paprika, just for a little extra pop of color, and just sprinkle it on the top. And there we have our sriracha shrimp deviled eggs, one of my favorites. Okay, so lastly, we're just gonna go ahead and put all of our ingredients from the pastas together. Remember earlier, we had the roast on, and that's gone overnight. So now we're good to go with the pasta. We're gonna go ahead and put all the ingredients together, and I'll show you what that looks like, and we're gonna head out of here. Okay guys, so we are back to go ahead and finish up our pasta. I've taken our roast out and I've sliced it real nicely, and it has the natural gravy going. So just to give you a little quick shortcut on how to make a gravy, I'm gonna go ahead and add some roux. Now you can get powdered roux from the grocery store as well. I'm just gonna dump it in my bowl here, maybe about 3/4 of a cup or so. And then we're gonna add some water to it and stir it in as we go. As you can tell, it's making a nice brown color, and that's exactly what we want. I'd say about 1.5 cups or so, give or take. And then lastly, I'm gonna add 2 seasonings. One is a salt, pepper, and garlic mix, about 1 tablespoon of that. And last is, of course, the Cajun seasoning, about 1 tablespoon of that as well. Mix it all in. And lastly, we're just gonna go ahead and pour it over our roast that's already chopped up, just like so. And just give it a good stir. And now actually, just to mix this all in and get all the seasonings mixed in with the meat, we're just gonna place it in the oven on broil just for about 2 to 3 minutes to thicken up the gravy. And after that, we're gonna go ahead and put the pasta together. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we have our roast. Look at how thick that gravy is. That's exactly what we wanted. We put it on broil for about 3 to 5 minutes. It made a nice gravy. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and put all the ingredients together. I'm gonna go ahead and dump the roast with the gravy inside of the sauce, which makes an amazing flavor. And next, we're just gonna take the pasta and dump it in as well into our sauce, the nice cheesy sauce we made earlier. And we just give everything a nice stir. And now we're just gonna put it on a plate, put some garnish on there, and we have our smothered pulled beef pasta. And there we are. And we'll just put a little green onion on top. And there you have it, our Cajun smothered pulled beef pasta. Okay guys, so there you have it, 2 of my favorite dishes. These are original recipes, by the way, so I hope you guys enjoy at home. You can find me on social media at @misszee.j, MISSZEEDOTJAY. I hope you guys enjoyed this Cajun food made simple. And I want to give a huge shout out to one of my sponsors, Ophelia's restaurant in Galveston. Their food is awesome. So please make sure that if you're visiting, you stop by. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.